Hello, I'm Stephanie Quine with the weekly Law Report. Here are our top stories this week. Australia's biggest class action hit the High Court on Tuesday, a suit against ANZ Bank over fees. The battle is over fair fee charges on late credit card payments, overdrawn accounts and bounced cheques. Andrew Watson from Maurice Blackburn is heading up the case on behalf of 170,000 customers against all of the nation's major banks. The banks argue the fees are lawful, but a major question in the case is whether the charges are penalties or fees for a service. If the customers win, lawyers hope the banks will have to pay back $220 million. They're expecting a decision in 6 to 8 weeks. The Commonwealth Director of Public Prosecutions has announced he will not seek reappointment when his term expires in October. Chris Craigie SC was last week thanked for his 5 years of service to the role. During his term, the Office of the CDPP had notable success in prosecuting in relation to matters around terrorism, anti-money laundering and people smuggling. The government will soon advertise for a new CDPP. As NASA's Curiosity rover prepared to land on Mars, 4 students from Melbourne University were winning a global space law moot. The mooting scenario involved mining on other planets and whose responsibility it is when an astronaut becomes stranded in outer space. All hypothetical and set in around 2050, but could lawyers be dealing with these questions sooner than we think? The JD students had no previous knowledge of space law before entering the competition, but were able to draw on the large body of law in space and moon treaties, which Australia signed up to through the United Nations in the 60s and 70s. The view that rhetoric is the mark of an effective barrister is outdated and unfairly favours men, according to High Court Judge Virginia Bell. Speaking at the Australian Women Lawyers Conference on Saturday, Bell said the view that a barrister must have a commanding presence and eloquence of style was one of the reasons female barristers are not receiving the same quality of work. Bell urged senior delegates in private practice to redress these misconceptions in discussions with clients. I'm Stephanie Quine, thanks for watching. I'll be back next Friday with more top stories in Australian law and business.